What is up, Champion Trucker, coming back at you with a new video here in the truck. And today we're going to be talking about the sleep deprived truck drivers out there on the road. It is going to be dark, and I suggest that you watch the entire video if you're a truck driver, because this is information that you don't want to miss. Now, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, become a champ, hit the like button. It's free. I would definitely appreciate it. It helps out the channel. And if you want this week's cooking video, it's on my Patreon. You get it a week in advance, also exclusive access to the Discord, and much more. With that being said, let's go ahead and roll that intro. So I want to say shout out to my dad. Thank you for this video idea. He asked me, hey, what about truck drivers and sleep? Do they have any kind of problems? So with that being said, I've done some deep diving, and this study is going to blow you away. So this is a government study. We conducted round-the-clock electrophysiological and performance monitoring on 4 groups of 20 male truck drivers who were carrying revenue-producing loads. We compared 4 driving schedules, 2 in the United States, 5 10-hour trips of day driving beginning about the same time each day, or of night driving beginning about 2 hours earlier each day, and 2 in Canada, 4 13-hour trips of late night to morning driving beginning at about the same time each evening, or of afternoon to night driving beginning 1 hour later each day. The results: drivers average 5.18 hours in bed per day, 5.18, and 4.78 hours of electrophysiologically verified sleep per day over the 5-day study. These values compare with the mean self-reported ideal amount of sleep is 7.1. So they found that 2 drivers had undiagnosed sleep apnea. There was actually a driver, let me see here, that 2 other drivers had 1 episode each of stage 1 sleep while driving, as detected by the I'm not even going to try to say that one. 45 drivers, 56%, had at least 1 6-minute interval of drowsiness while driving. So each year, over 110,000 people are injured, and more than 5,000 of that are killed in the United States in motor vehicle accidents involving commercial trucks. Estimates of the percentage of crashes that are partially or completely attributed to fatigue range from 1 to 56%, depending on the database examined and the level of details available from crash investigations. So we're gonna go down a rabbit hole. We're gonna see a video here, and I definitely say that this is a learning moment, not a bashing moment. We all want to say, oh, well, he should have just pulled over. Well, there's many reasons a day cab does not get the chance to pull over, or the reasons that they kind of tell themselves. And as somebody that has driven day cab, yeah, if I was tired, I slept at the rest stop.
Take a close look at this dash cam footage. You can see a truck driver nodding off. Then this.
He's gone. Oh, shoot.
You can see 2 cars on the side of the road, and a person standing outside them.
Man.
The News4JAX I-Team is now learning the driver said his tire blew out, and that's what caused the crash on I-4 in the Tampa area.
Yeah, that's what he told troopers.
A lot of truck drivers that have an accident, they hit something, they do something, they definitely want to deflect blame in order to retain their CDL. And yes, falling asleep at the wheel, it does take somebody to say, hey, I'm tired, it's time for me to sleep instead of crash. But there is a lot of nuances that come into it, so lying about it is not a good thing, I will say that. But I can see why somebody would lie about it, but it's not good. I'm not saying it's good.
Told troopers, but today I spoke with an attorney who says that this dash camera footage proves otherwise. Just a few seconds of sleep, and then this.
He was gone. Oh, man.
Truck driver Cecil Brown appears to doze off at the wheel of his 18-wheeler along Interstate I-4 in Hillsborough County. His semi-trailer first colliding with a car that was parked on the side of the highway, where 2 people were changing a flat tire.
Give it some moments, he would have ran into this rather than some people.
of the victims was pinned against a concrete wall along I-4.
Man.
According to this police report, Brown told Florida troopers,
and the person was pinned. If you didn't catch that, let me rewind that.
Where two people were changing a flat tire. One of the victims was pinned against a concrete wall along I-4.
One person.
According to this police report, Brown told Florida troopers his front tire blew out, and then the front right portion of his truck dipped and caused the crash. Testimony.
I mean, if you have camera footage and they see you asleep, there's no denying this. There's no denying this. And he's probably worried, scared. It looks like he got a back brace, so he might be a food service driver, and it's tiring work. So if you didn't get enough sleep that night and you got to unload this trailer, it's just a combination for tragedy. So if you guys ever seen those posters or those billboards of lawyers saying car crash, truck driver crash, or anything like that, well, this is Malman law. So if a truck driver falls asleep at the wheel, one of the most dangerous scenarios on the road is when a truck driver is fatigued after too many hours of driving and falls asleep behind the wheel. This can lead to all sorts of different accidents, including but not limited to the following: 1. Rollover accident. 2. Head-on collision. 3. Lane changing accident. 4. Side swiping accident. 5. Jackknife accident. 6. Rear end collision. In the event of a drowsy driving accident that involves a truck driver who fell asleep at the wheel, it is advisable to seek immediate medical attention, even if you do not believe that you have been seriously injured. This way, if injuries do surface in the future, you have medical proof that you were examined after the accident. Additionally, it is recommended that you speak with an experienced truck driver, and this is how they get you. This is how they get, and this is true. So I'll tell you something. I had gotten rear end collision at a stale red light in my personal vehicle, and my car was totaled. And so at that time, you know, I'm sitting there and I get smacked in the back, and I'm like, what the heck? And it turned out that this guy, either two things were going on. It was just a SUV, but either two things: he was drinking and driving, or he was like majorly sleepy. And this is the thing, it's not just truck drivers, it's that we're just this giant vehicle that can completely obliterate somebody. This is happening also with people that are coming off of their 9-hour job or 8-hour job, and they're getting in their car, they're tired, and this happens too. So you also have to watch out for those that are not an 18-wheel, they're a 4-wheeler, and they might run into you. So common sleep issues for truckers. There are a lot of common issues that most truckers around the world are prone to, depending on how many hours they drive, whether or not they're in good health before they take the long trip. Shift work syndrome. This is a big one, and I'll talk about this later. This condition can affect your circadian rhythm cycle. On average, it causes sleep loss of at least 1 to 4 hours per night. This is the most common symptom among truckers and those who work overnight shifts and shifts that last longer than 12 hours. So insomnia is another one. We'll do all these later. But our main focus is the circadian rhythm. We are going to see insomnia. We're going to touch upon it for the next video. We'll bleed into the next part of it. But shift work syndrome, let me give you guys an anecdotal story that I've experienced. So on this channel, I've documented why I left JB Hunt, and at that time I just could not get a steady circadian rhythm of sleep. One day I was working in the morning, one day I was working at night. Thank God, and I really hope, you know, knock on wood here, that I continue this shift, because I do have a circadian rhythm of sleep. I know when I'm going to sleep. I know when I'm going to get up. Typically, I always have to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. So my body is accustomed to that. That means that I got to go to sleep around 8, 9, at the latest 10. So when I go to sleep at these times, I'm able to better prepare myself for the next day. But when I was going off the clock, going during the day and night, it didn't matter when I slept. Didn't matter if I was sleeping 12 hours. I was still not getting the sleep that I needed, because my body was just not ready for that time. Like, just imagine yourself sleeping at the normal time of night, then having to wake up, then sleep during the middle of the day because you had to work maybe 6 hours to get caught up. It was just a mess. So circadian rhythm is a major issue within the trucking industry, and I've experienced it. So this video shows somebody that goes in and out of sleep and when to call it. So he's got his eyes closed, he's waking up, he's looking around, you know, he's going back, he dozes off. Sometimes you don't even know you're going into these modes. You look around, you become delusional. He's going back to sleep. He has another chance. He wakes up, corrects even his lane alert, wakes him up. And at that point, unfortunately, he's gone. Wakes up again. How many times has he waken up at this time? He wakes up again. And at this point, it's just time to call it. It's time to call it at this point, and then it's gone. It's over. And boom, boom, boom. And it's a jackknife with a combination of a rollover. And that his neck's probably messed up. I do have to say, today I had to pick up my tractor from the shop, right? So that's an additional 30 minutes to my day, and it threw me off a little bit. Coming down to the state that I have to go to, I try to make all the drive in one day so I don't have to drive as much the next day. So I decided to go ahead and go into a rest stop, not to sleep, but to use the restroom. And this is today. I get into the rest stop, I'm using the restroom, and then I feel fatigued. And so I was like, you know, I'm 2 hours away, I can make it work. I get in the truck, I feel severely fatigued. I say, man, you know what? Let me take a 16-minute nap. I took that 16-minute nap and I felt so much better. Now, this might seem corny to you, but a lot of truck drivers want to go ahead and be like, you know what? I'm tougher than sleep. I'm going to tell you, sleep will always win. At least with me. I'm honest with myself. You can be better than me. That's fine. But sleep will always it will beat me to a core. So you can sit here and say, oh, I drove all 10 hours. Good for you, man. Good for you, because at one time, when you build up this whole entire ego of thinking like you better than the whole entire system, no. Sleep will always, your body will always be caffeine. It'll always be anything that you throw at it, because your body is craving something more than you want to tell, more than you think. Okay, so this is a popular form, Trucking Truth. If you're unfamiliar with it, I highly suggest to check it out. I always get a lot of great information. But this is somebody, and I don't want to put their information on blast. It has a picture of them and everything. And so they talk about their insomnia issue, and this is going to lead into the next sleep part of truck driving. But like I said, we're just going to touch upon it. Genuinely need tips on this one. Starting my day this morning at 0500, parked at 1530, and now 2245, and this is all military time. And I can't seem to fall asleep, and I need to be awake by 0330 for morning routine, and need to start my day at the very latest 0400. Had a long day full of lives. I don't know what he meant by that. So I'm not too physically or mentally exhausted. Only drove 230 miles today. I don't have unlimited data, so excessive streaming isn't a huge possibility. So I'm going to give my perspective of it. 230 miles today it's not a whole lot of miles. I think I did that and more. But it all determines on what you're doing at night. Like for me, having these lights and TV and this laptop and this monitor that I have, it's not a good thing. But I know when I'm going to go to sleep, and I know when I'm going to have to wake up. So I'm optimizing myself in order to shut down. But he talks about not having excessive, or he doesn't have unlimited data. So he can't turn on the TV and mindlessly go into it. So certain people give some suggestions. I sometimes use melatonin. And I'm not too sure. This person says that you can use it, but be mindful. And we went over this with the drug and alcohol video that I went over, that some things you cannot use. within a time frame. I don't know if melatonin is one of them, but I know that melatonin, if you get the right one, it'll knock you out. I'm sorry it won't help you tonight, but it's the best thing for insomnia. It's a natural occurring hormone, so it should not be on any do not take list. You can find it at any store that sells natural vitamins. Here's a link with some info. Tonight, try counting. The old adage does work. You don't have to count sheep, count anything. It's the mundane repetition that helps. Hope it helps. So this is his kind of thing, and you have to see that there's a lot of people that are experiencing insomnia on this form, and this is just one page of it. But as we've seen here, and I'm glad that my dad brought this up because this topic is something that really doesn't get highlighted. Sleep deprived truck drivers lead into accidents that harm others that are unsuspecting of your current condition. You also are susceptible to hurting yourself substantially. So it is important that within the trucking industry that we really have to get sleep. They say we have a 10-hour clock. For those that have to get up at that 10, when your 10 hits and you have to hit the road, it is imperative that whatever you have to do, maybe cut the grass, do something, it's time for you to hire somebody to cut the grass. It's time for you to hire somebody that's going to clean the house for you. It's time for you to hire a service. If you can't cook in your truck like I do, and if you need recipes, you need something to cook in your truck, I make it easy for you. Go on to my Patreon, get the videos of me cooking a week in advance. And if you don't want to do that, wait for the video to drop here. And it's so easy for you that you're not going to be like, oh my gosh, how am I supposed to survive here out on the road? I made it easy for you. And this is a reflection of something that we need to capitalize on: sleep in trucking. And I hope that this video really shines a light on something that you really didn't take too seriously. Maybe you even did this. It's so common. It is so common to see truck drivers lolling off to sleep. That's just the reality of it. But we're going to be doing more videos like this, insomnia and sleep apnea. We're going to be getting into it because, man, there is a lot of things that you could be doing to benefit yourself at night. And I'll give you guys a little tip. If you made it all the way to the end of this, one thing that you could get, you probably didn't think of, is a mattress topper. If you have your truck and you are the person that is the only one in your truck for the most part, get a mattress topper. I don't have one, but I'm going to get one because it is a game changer. Comfortability in your body is important for sleep, and especially if you get one with lavender. Oh man, I'm throwing too much game out there. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Subscribe and hit that like button if you like this video, and I will catch all of you champs in the next one. Stay awake out on the road. Peace.